A 1000cc GSX-R has 6 gears. You know what else has 6 gears? My bicycle. Yeah, boy! That's how I roll. He doesn't even look. Hey guys, M13 here. I'm at the track. Met this guy. It's my second time meeting this guy. He rides this bike. You could buy 3 of my motorcycles for one of his. I said, can I take it for a ride? He said yes, stupidly enough. So, I'm gonna take it out. This is high, man. This is higher than my bike. My bike's extra low. Now I know why you were. I was watching you moving it. I'm like, oh, that's because he's short. But I'm barely getting my feet down here.
You probably want to move your back to the side.
You don't want me to scratch anything, right?
Maybe, yeah.
Okay. More fanny pack racism. Jeez, no one likes my fanny pack. Yeah, that's a good idea. 我的手机在哪里?
You know how to start it?
No, I don't. Hey, don't tell me. I'll figure it out. How do I? Is it on the left side? That's the horn. That's probably. Yeah. Okay. It's in the right spot. Yeah.
Right safe. Leaving? Yeah.
Wow. So, for those of you that don't know, this is the BMW something RR something. So far, the positioning is so freaking sporty compared to my motorcycle. It's just like night and day. It feels like I'm sitting so much more forward on the bike, and it feels like I'm gonna like fall over the front headlight. It really is. The guy was saying to me he recently did a lap around the island, and he recently did like a lap around the island, and for it he didn't ride his bike. I'm like, okay, you own this beautiful piece of machinery, and then you go for a ride on a motorcycle and you don't use your motorcycle. He rented a Hornet, Honda Hornet, which is like a cheap kind of budget bike. These mirrors are so not adjusted to me though. There we go. Shit, what am I doing here? There we go. It's nice. Cool mirrors. I like these mirrors. The visibility is good even though the mirrors are really small. Jeez. I'm like hitting buttons and shit. I don't know what they do. Like I can feel my thumb under here hitting some kind of button. I guess that's a horn. Yeah. There's the flashers for the high beams. Where are the highs though? I want to put the high beams on. Don't have a clue how to do it. Yeah. So yeah, it's just I'm sitting higher up. Oops, not neutral. Jeez, come on. There we go. Neutral. Trying to figure out where the controls are and stuff. It's got a gear indicator. Shows what gear I'm in. So it's got all it's got traction control and anti-braking system and all the goodies that I've never used before. I'm not going to get a true feel for it because I'm not really taking on any windy roads or anything. Or then again, let me think. Are there any windy roads very close to here? There's the RPM gauge. I'm at like 5,000. That's nothing, man. The red line's at 14,000. Let's see how. I'm not used to going too high with the RPMs because my own motorcycle like red lines at like 9,000. This thing red lines at 14,000. So once I'm getting up to like 9,000, I'm used to the feel of that, and I'm kind of like, oh, okay, back off. Yeah, there we go. time since I've been on a bike that's like a lot more powerful than my own. I miss that, I miss the feeling of like acceleration that makes you, that actually scares you. Like my own, you know, obviously my own bike, I'm so used to it from having ridden it for 7 years that no matter how hard I accelerate, it's still not going to scare me. Okay, so, oops, jeez, where the fuck is neutral, man? Neutral? Okay, jeez. I have to, going from 1 up to neutral, I can't find it, but from going 2 down, I can. And why is it on rain? He's got it set to rain mode. I guess he doesn't want to, I guess he doesn't, it's like probably like extra anti-slip. There we go. Sport. Let's go to race. Oops. Rain is probably like limits the power too, for definite. Now I've got it on sport mode. Yeah, that's much funner. That's what he did. He's new to he's new to riding, and don't worry, I already told him off for riding such an expensive bike as his first bike. But it's pretty. He has experience with other bikes. He rents them, and he rides a scooter, and he rents motorcycles a lot. But then for his first actual purchase of a bike, he bought, you know, this thing. I just realized he had it in rain mode, which limits the power quite a bit to stop the tires from slipping in the rain. I just put it to sport mode, and I noticed the difference right then. Okay, I'm in second gear now. Oh, this is nice. If I crash this bike, I just lose like every penny that I own, every penny I've ever saved. How long did I tell him I'd take it for again? I think I told him I'd be back in 15 minutes. Don't think that's going to come true. Pretty sure I lied about that. This is... Okay, let's try to find neutral. Neutral? Yeah, I did it. I went from 1 up to neutral, which I already said I couldn't do. I'm just going to make sure I'm still recording, because... Yeah, I'm recording. My glasses... The people that make my glasses say, oh yeah, you can tell when you're recording because you can just... Hey, there's a button down here. What's this for? Why is there a button? What the fuck is this? I don't know what that is. Sport mode. Ah, that's nice, man. The front tire came off the ground like 2-3 times just then, just from acceleration, and not even like, and I wasn't even fully gunning it. It was just, the bike's just that powerful that giving it 80% throttle is enough to have the front tire just come up a little bit. It's got all sorts of ABS and shit. I wonder if I can lock up the rear brake by braking hard. Let's try. No, and I can feel it too. I feel when I braked hard with the rear, I could feel like a pulsing and like the ABS working. Just like in a car, it's the same thing. If you push really hard with the brake, the pedal will pulse. That's what my foot just did. So that's interesting. Front tire was coming off the ground going up that hill there. 12,000 RPM. See, that's the thing, you know. You gotta get. I love the sound of a 4-cylinder motorcycle, but only when it's like screaming. Anything other than screaming, and I actually prefer the sound of my bike. So my bike sounds better than in the low RPMs. A bike like mine that's 2-cylinder sounds much better than a 4-cylinder. But in a 4-cylinder, it's in the high RPM, so it's where they start sounding. Oh, it's nice. case you can't tell, I am enjoying myself. And it was kind of funny, when I borrowed the bike, I was just thinking to myself, well, I'm riding on the street. I'm not really going to be able to do a proper review of it. I'm not going to feel too much. It's not going to be that big of a deal. I'll just ride around and say, oh, look, I'm riding an expensive bike. Look at me. But I'm actually having a pretty fun time. Helps that I live in Taiwan and I got roads like this one I just did so easily accessible. I leave the racing track and within like a few minutes of leaving the racing track, look, I'm on a road that's so beautiful and twisty that it could itself be a racing track. That's a gorgeous road I was just on, so nicely paved and windy, and there aren't any intersections that I need to be overly worried about. Oh, this is nice. I kind of regret riding this bike, man. Just because it's so much fun. Because at heart I really am a race bike rider, a sports bike rider. But my Ninja 650, it's not. It's a street bike. It's not a race bike. And this is a race bike. Speaking of racing, let's see what happens if I switch to the race mode. I'm in sport mode right now. Okay, now we're on race mode. This is probably like the total expert mode, which I probably should not be on. Having fun. Look at me. I don't really know how it handles on the corners because I'm not leaning it over very far because I'm not very familiar with this road. It's a beautiful road and I know it's windy, but I've only done it a couple times before, so. Once before I rode it, there was one time before where I rode a Ducati. It was when I first got my Ninja 650, and it was my front and rear suspension were still stock. And we were up in the mountains with me and a group, and we were doing a corner, like back and forth around a corner, and we were seeing how much lean angle we could get. And I was on my stock Ninja 650, and I was, I wasn't getting too far down, but I was getting it over. And when I'd go a bit too far down, my bike would kind of wobble a little bit, but it was controllable. But it made me nervous to go further down. And then some guy said, "You want to try my bike?" It was a Ducati. And I said, "Okay." And I didn't really like Ducatis at that point because they're so noisy because they got a dry clutch. But I'd never ridden one, so I did. I took his Ducati out for a ride, and I got lower on his Ducati than I was getting on my own motorcycle. So it was. That's the difference between like a really expensive bike. Like they instill confidence because they're just so smooth and. Where am I? Go straight, right? Yep. I think it has a launch controller because the front tire came off the ground there and then it kind of just dropped back on its own. It's probably like something to do with the traction control. It feels the front tire coming off the ground and then it automatically lowers you again, because if you're racing you want to be keeping the front tire on the ground, not up. Yeah, there you go. That's what a bike should sound like. He's going to be worried because I told him 15 minutes, and I'm gonna be longer than that. Once it hits that 15-minute mark, every minute he's just gonna be like, oh. I've been on the other side of this so many times where I lend someone my bike, and then they, you know, you're just looking at your watch. You're like, when he gets back here, I'm gonna tell him, why'd you take it for so long? So yeah, this is my first time in a long time riding a truly a truly super bike. This isn't a super bike. This is a super bike. I don't know where his high-low beams are though. I gotta ask him that when I get back there. Or maybe it's this button. Okay, that's like, yeah, it's a flasher, but how do you get this to come on and stay on? Oops, let's turn my signal light off. Okay, I'm getting better at finding neutral. What is it? How do you control the headlights? Not a clue. Don't know. Better. Oh, what? Why is it in sport mode? I thought I put it on race. Did it not work? Race. Okay. Okay, I put it on race. Okay, now it's in race. Yeah, the bike totally has it's a traction control kicking in, because my front tire keeps coming off, and I'm not laying off the gas, but it lowers on its own. It's like the bike just keeps the tires on the ground on its own. It's a fun feeling. And I'm sure if I wanted to, I could just turn push some buttons and turn the traction control off, and then it would allow me to actually wheelie without cutting it out. That's the thing, you know, when you get traction control and anti-braking systems and all that. Like, I love, I enjoy sliding my bike in sideways into parking places or gas stations or whatever. I just lock up the rear and slide in sideways. Can't do that on this bike because the rear won't lock. And I like getting my front wheel off the ground. Can't do this on this bike because of the traction control. But those things are adjustable. I can just push a button if I knew which button to push and turn those things off, and then you'd have all the fun, and I'm sure it would be very fun. There we go. There we go. Yeah, so I enjoyed it. It's my first time experiencing all that, like that much technology in a bike ever, and it's really confidence inspiring when you know that you can just pin the gas and it's not going to flip the bike and this and that. 好骑，真的好骑。
这没骑过，
我没有去过这么
舒服。
high tech， 就是很多电脑那种的摩托车。它的蛮特别的是，它没办法压雷棍，因为它有那个 traction control， 所以我就是我的前面的轮胎也会一直上，可能这么多，可是每一次它自己会塞下来，所以你可以真的很凶，然后你一直背，
就很爽。
yeah， 然后你真的蛮好玩。
安全。